acknowledges that he learned from Hamilton. Pivotal moment for Ferrari. Ferrari and even Lewis Hamilton are in complete shock with Charles Leclerc's recent admission. After carefully examining the 7-time world champion's data, he made the uncommon and brutally honest revelation that he has been imitating certain aspects of Hamilton's racing style ahead of his home race in Monaco. Furthermore, this goes beyond simple appreciation. This might be the spark that changes the balance of power between two of the fastest drivers on the circuit and turns Ferrari's 2025 season around. Stay tuned because we're going to cover a lot more ground than just driving technique. It has to do with attitude, flexibility, and a quiet revolution taking place within Charles Leclerc, a native hero with unadulterated speed and a fiercely unique style, has long been regarded as Ferrari's golden child. However, this week in Monaco, of all places, he made an unexpected admission. At other stages throughout the race, I occasionally adopt Hamilton's driving style since he is incredibly talented and fascinating. Yes, you heard correctly. Hamilton's toolbox is being used by Leclerc, and not in a casual way. He is imitating some routines and strategies that have allowed Lewis to rule the sport for more than 10 years. Internally, Ferrari has been taken aback by this, as Air has always been autonomous, emotionally motivated, blazingly quick, but frequently at odds with the team's strategic inconsistencies. He is now looking to Hamilton, Ferrari's most recent weapon, for motivation, and that provides us with two important insights. First, Leclerc is changing. Second, Ferrari's internal structure is changing. What precisely is Leclerc copying then? First, let's talk about Hamilton's racecraft. Charles claims that Lewis's discipline, attention to detail, and rapport with the engineers have completely altered Ferrari's internal dynamics. He is among the last to go from the track. He pushes the team in ways I hadn't really seen before, examines everything, and challenges everything. However, the interesting part comes with the technical shift. Hamilton's strategy for low-speed corner exits, particularly throttle modulation, has begun to be imitated. Particularly on city circuits like Monaco, Hamilton's technique for controlling grip without burning the tires has become famous. Additionally, this has been a major weakness for Ferrari's SF25 this year. Tire deterioration and traction issues have cost Ferrari a lot of money from Miami to Baku. Leclerc's ability to emulate Hamilton's grace rather than merely speed might be just what Ferrari needs. Please click the like button and subscribe if you're enjoying this in-depth look and would like to see more behind-the-scenes information about driver dynamics and technological shifts. This is only the beginning, so you won't want to miss what comes next. Let's take this to Monaco, the pinnacle of driver confidence and grace. In this case, rhythm, precise braking, and throttle control are crucial. Mastery is more important than top speed. Hamilton has always been among the top street circuit performers. He has textbook accuracy when it comes to handling slip angles, traction zones, and tight corner inputs. Conversely, Leclerc adopts a riskier, more aggressive approach, excellent during qualifying, but frequently prone to errors and tire drop-off. During the race, by examining Hamilton's statistics, one may now determine when to manage rather than launch a blind attack and when to be surgical rather than explosive. And that could be vital because, given the track's unusual configuration and the significant improvements Ferrari discreetly made to the vehicle this weekend, Monaco may be Ferrari's last genuine chance to win this season. One of them is a daring 2024 throwback. It's working. 2. The strong downforce rear wing from the previous year will be returned by Ferrari, the same one that helped him win his home race and dominate qualifying. It's strategic as well as nostalgic. This configuration is ideal for Monaco. Maximum rear stability, tighter turns, and low-speed traction in areas like racks, LSE and Mebo. There's more though. Additionally, Ferrari tweaked the damper settings, ride height, and suspension stiffness. Why? Due to the fact that the SF25 has been among the most rigid vehicles on the grid. Fantastic for Silverstone, but awful for Monaco. These adjustments ought to lessen rear-end instability, provide power early, and make it simpler for Hamilton and Air to ride the curbs. After Miami and Imola, Hamilton expressly asked for something. How did the two drivers get to Monaco? Then, with momentum, Hamilton enters, calm, collected, and confident. He assured his players, if we qualify better, we'll be winning. Following a spectacular 12-4 comeback against Imola, that is a caution, not frustration, left Imola furious in the interim. Pit strategy, confusion, and his now viral "I don't give a damn." The radio broadcast that said, "We are talking about ourselves," made him seriously doubt his faith in the group. However, a few days later, he acknowledges that Hamilton's philosophy is affecting him. This could mark the beginning of a shift, from an emotionally reactive to an analytically proactive approach. That shift might characterize the remainder of 2025 as well as Monaco. Please click the subscribe button and enable notifications if you have stayed with us this far. We're providing you with in-depth, straightforward analysis following each racing weekend. What comes next is something you don't want to miss. What precisely is at risk this weekend? Then, Ferrari's 2025 campaign is not merely in jeopardy, it is on the precipice of a catastrophe and a rebirth. and more than any other circuit. Monaco is where legends are created, careers are advanced, and internal power dynamics start to change. For Ferrari, winning a world championship is no longer the goal of this event. Red Bull still has a pace advantage, let's face it. McLaren is on the rise. Mercedes has also begun to regain its footing after its early season setbacks. They've halted Ferrari, though they have displayed moments of genius, such as Hamilton's amazing tire management in Imola or Leclerc's pole in China. Consistency, plan, and execution remain elusive. And for that reason, the current events are so fascinating because Ferrari has more than simply two top drivers for the first time in many years. They have two drivers who are beginning to operate together as a team, listening to and learning from one another. Let's delve farther. The impassioned Monagas, who is frequently regarded as Ferrari's emotional center and who expresses his annoyance on the radio, and his ambition in every braking zone, is starting to change. That latest acknowledgement that Hamilton taught him is more than simply a compliment. It's an indication, a tacit admission that sheer speed is insufficient. Lewis, the 7-time world champion, is also doing what he always does best. The team around him, in addition to driving quickly, at Mercedes, that was his greatest strength. Pole positions and race victories weren't the only factors. It was about bringing the engineers closer together, coordinating development with driver input, and encouraging all team members, mechanics, strategists, and data analysts to provide the best work possible. Early indications of that culture change are beginning to emerge at Ferrari, and it may be more significant than any front-end improvements. After Imola, do you recall what Hamilton said? "We will win if we qualify better." It was a caution rather than a grievance, because Hamilton is aware of the car's shortcomings but also just how close they are. And now that both drivers are pointing in the same technological direction, requesting comparable improvements, offering encouraging comments, and developing a shared language with the engineers, Ferrari has something it hasn't had in a very long time. Coherence. This is the reason this revelation from the air is so significant, because it indicates that your top driver, your homegrown hero, is doing more than just driving to make ends meet. When he begins adopting the behaviors of a 7-time winner, he's trying to get bigger. Furthermore, this has repercussions that extend well beyond Monaco. Consider this situation. Is eligible for the front row. Hamilton enters the top 3 after mastering the setup. They both run perfect races. The group executes the plan flawlessly. The whole Formula One paddock suddenly bursts into conversation, not about McLaren's ascent or Red Bull's hegemony, but rather about a Ferrari comeback driven by unity and a common goal rather than politics or mayhem. Because this is the reality. The automobile isn't the only factor. The automobile is never the only factor. It has to do with trust. Have faith in the data, have faith in the engineers, have faith in one another. And Ferrari might have it for once. Monaco is a circuit unlike any other. It is not indicative of the season's equilibrium. It won't fix Ferrari's racing performance at Suzuka or Spa in a magical way. It won't make up for the strategic errors that have occurred throughout the previous 2 years. Furthermore, one successful weekend does not equate to a championship candidate. However, it has the ability to light the fuse, and has done so in the past. We might remember Monaco 2025 as the turning point if Ferrari makes good use of this opportunity. If Leclerc keeps improving his strategy, if Hamilton continues to shape society, and if the improvements truly work. Because keep in mind that this goes beyond simply imitating telemetry curves or replicating throttle traces. This is about two elite drivers realizing that, rather than competing against one another, they may be stronger working together. That hinges on Ferrari maintaining this shaky momentum, continuing to have faith in the process, Hamilton obtaining the necessary qualifying, and the engineer's ability to perform under duress. This may be the start of something extraordinary if they do, and Monaco is the model rather than the anomaly. Not in 2026, not upon modifications to regulations, but right now. Ila's disclosure a significant turning point or merely a publicity stunt? Is Hamilton's impact being felt where it counts most at last? Comments are below. When you're finished, remember to click on the video that is currently playing on your screen. Additionally, remember to subscribe to my